This past summer, I asked my brother Dean to make picture frames using repurposed white cedar I salvaged from a weathered fence we took down in the yard.
Right now, before we actually get to the tools, we need to find a measurement on how much we have to relieve the back of the board so that the glass and the picture and the matting can all fit inside behind it so that we can make the frame.
And I laid out all the supplies, so I've already purchased the mats and the acrylic board, which still has this blue covering on it. And for the backing that holds it into place, I'm actually going to recycle the cardboard that came with the mats were delivered in. So everything you need here to determine the thickness is here. So that's what you're doing now, right?
So I'm just going to take a measurement. I'm going to take the matting, and I'm going to put the acrylic glass top with it and on top of the cardboard, and I'm going to take that measurement. I don't need the picture in there because it's so thin it doesn't even make a difference.
So I should stack these then.
Yep. We have the matting on top, the acrylic on the inside, and then the cardboard. So I'm going to hold it together.
Yep.
I take my tape. I'll start at any number, the 7, and I'm going to go down, and that measurement looks like 5/16. And so I will add at least an 1/8. So let's say 7/16.
So now you're determining how much overlap is going to be on the mats.
Yep.
So not very much. Like this is going to be overall. It's supposed to be. I'm only just do a quarter an inch.
In this picture, this would be the piece of wood. If you looked at it from the end, I'll draw some grain on it so it looks like the wood. This would be the area that the picture is going to go in. So this has to be rabbited out on the back of the fence board. So we determined that the depth, the space we need to fit the picture, the matting, and the acrylic, plus extra to be able to hold it in, is 7/16, give or take. Plus or minus, probably more on the minus side. And then how much we're going to overlap the actual matting is going to be 1/4 of an inch. That's this measurement right here. So we've determined that. Now we're going to go outside. We're going to set up the router to take that out, and we're going to rip a whole bunch of these pieces first. Step 1 on the picture frame making. So I know the 12x12s, they probably don't take quite 20 inches, but I want to make sure we have enough. So that's one frame right there, 4 pieces. Slide it in. We're not worrying about squareness here because some rot there, but that's okay. It gives it character. This is all just rough stuff. We don't need to try to be absolutely accurate here. What I did was, because we're doing 12x12 frames, we need 4 pieces to do the frame. I cut these pieces roughly at 20 inches each so that they're a little bit longer. It's better to run a board through the router on a smaller scale because if there's any changes in the boards, whether it's not straight or flat, this will cut out that groove much more evenly when it's smaller. So these are ready, but I'm not going to do them yet because I want to do a sample piece, run it through, see if the groove that we cut out is the correct size that we had measured in the other room. So here's my 1/4 inch. That's going to take what overhangs the picture. Right here, there's my 1/4 inch. And then if I turn it down this way, I measure off the table, and there is my 7/16 shy, or 7/16 right there, height. So there's our 2 dimensions we just measured from in the other room. Looking at somewhere around 7/16 shy, and we have 7/16 shy, and then this is our overlap for the photo, which we wanted somewhere around that's 1/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this in the house, put it on the frame, see what we got, put them together, and try it. Okay, so here's our check. We're looking for 1/4 inch to overlap the picture, and I like that reveal. See that distance? That's nice there. And now we're going to check our depth, which I'm going to take this again, I'm going to put it together with this again, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it on top together, and then I'm going to look to see that I have space underneath to push a pin, which I do, to hold the cardboard against the wood. Okay, so what we just did was, with the amount of material for 6 frames, 12x12 frames, we just ran through the router and put the edge on all of them. So this is where the picture's going to set in. We ran everyone through. It took us approximately not even 5 minutes to run all of these. We're ready to go for the next step, which is going to be, I'm going to cut a 45 on 2 boards. We'll put it together. We'll go inside, we'll put our frame in there, and we'll be able to mark to know where we need to make the other sides so that we can cut the 4 pieces of frames to size. Okay, I set the saw at a 45-degree angle. And my saw cuts pretty much right on, so I don't have to check it. And then I'm going to just cut just enough. Hopefully we did this right. Go 45 the other way. No measurement required here. I'm not cutting the board to length. I'm just cutting one. This board goes together like this. There becomes our frame. And on the back side, as you can see where the picture goes in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're going to go inside, we're going to put the frame in here, and that's going to allow me to give a mark to know where I got to make my other 45 on each one of these pieces. And then if it's nice and square, each piece should be the same size, and we just set up a stop and cha-chang, cha-chang, and we got every piece made. So I'm going to take this, place it inside. I line up my picture frame exactly where it's supposed to be. You can see it's cut and square. This is nice and square. So now I know that this thing my picture has to catch pretty good. Right at this edge is where that 45 has to land. Here's the edge of the acrylic. When a line goes all the way up, it would be about right there, and I added a little bit more. My 45 has to touch this corner. My blade has to hit this corner, because it goes in a little bit too. It has to go there, but it has to be at least right there. So my blade has to touch that. So I bring the blade down. I'm going to move this so you can see. I'm going to slide this blade over so I see. Now I'm going to let the guard go back down, and I'm going to cut this. So you see where right to my pencil line? On the outside it looks like 18 and 9/16. So I'm going to cut every one at 18 and 9/16. So now I can do an outside measurement, which is better because I can cut downwards. So 18 and 9/16, I make a mark with my pencil. There I did. Where that bug bit me is itching my arm. Okay, and here I go. I line this thing up. And then I can take that, set that one down. Take this one and do the same thing. Line them up here. Make a mark here. With the blade right on the edge. Should be pretty good. I hope we got them right. Sure. Maybe a little smaller, but we're okay. Let's go try it.
Dean carefully tested the fit before cutting the remaining boards and prepared to assemble the frames.
We cut all the miters on our 6 frames, and I'm making sure to keep each one that I cut together. So all 4, I cut these together as one unit, as you saw previous. So these 4 pieces will only go together with their own 4. There could be off a little bit on length to these. We're just in the ballpark. So that's why we want to keep them all together. So this is just going to be where we attach the frames together. We have a little bit of glue. We have a nail gun. I'm using an 18 gauge nail gun with 1.5-inch nails. Brads, I guess you want to call it. And I have something that holds them at a 45-degree angle, and just enough for me to nail them, and we're set.
Dean's first attempt at assembling a frame uncovered something he wanted to improve.
Because of the size of the frame, we can only nail here with the nail gun, but we can't pull together on this side of the frame, so it'll want to twist. So we're doing a pocket hole that we're going to go in and put a screw that'll pull the inside together, and then we'll do a small brad nail on the outside. So this is the pocket hole that I'm doing right here, and I only have to do it on the inside of one of each one. Okay, now we're going to glue these together. We have the glue, we have the screws for the Craig's pocket hole, and the nail gun to put the corners together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue in them, I'm going to push it together, I'm going to nail the outside corner, and then I'm going to put the screw in the end. Nice and slow. It's a very soft wood, so there you can see when it just squeezed it.
Now he was ready to assemble the 2 halves to complete the picture frame.
I line my inside corner right here. I'm going to line that up there because that's what matters. Then I'm going to pull this together. First I do the nail. Craig's jig again. Make sure it's flat. Gotta be careful. with the soft woods. Flip it over, wipe some glue.
We used glazing points to hold the mat and glass in place, and a sawtooth hanger for a snug fit to the wall. And there you have it, Frames for an Average Jill, custom made by my brother Dean. If you'd like to purchase a print in one of these custom frames, visit my website at anaveragejill.com.